Hello, my friends. Say hello to my friend Sunny. We are out for coffee at a little place in Hickory called the
Tasteful Beans.
Tasteful Beans. And we are going to do devotions live together in the coffee shop. I bet you didn't expect to see me out and about, did you? I actually leave my house once in a while in the morning.
Public.
Right, I go out in public. All right, April 25th. David's justice as king. 2 Samuel 8:15-18. So David reigned over all of Israel and did what was just and right for all of his people. Joab, son of Zeruiah, was commander of the army. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was the royal historian. Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, were the priests. Sariah was the court secretary. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was the captain of the king's bodyguard, and David's sons served as priestly leaders. 1 Chronicles 18:14-17. So David reigned over all of Israel and did what was just and right for all of his people. Joab, son of Zeruiah, was commander of the army. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was the royal historian. He was hysterical.
Hysterical historian.
Zadok, son of Ahitub, and Ahimelech, son of Abiathar, were the priests. Sariah was the court secretary. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was captain of the king's bodyguard. And David's sons served as king's chief assistants. The Levite clans, 1 Chronicles 6:16-30. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The descendants of Gershon include Libni and Shimei. The descendants of Kohath included Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uziel. The descendants of Merari included Mali and Mushi. The following were the Levite clans, listed according to their ancestral descendants. The descendants of Gershon included Libni, Jahath, Zimah, Joah, Iddo, Zerah, and Jeatherai. The descendants of Kohath included Aminadab, Korah, Aser, Elkanah, Abiasaph, Aser, Tahath, Uriel, Uziel, and Uzziah, and Shaul. The descendants of Elkanah included Amasai, Ahimath, Elkanah, Zophai, Nahath, Eliab, Jeroham, Elkanah, and Samuel. It's the good sections today we read. The descendants of Merari included Mali, Libni, Shammai, Uzzah, Shemaiah, Haggai, and Asaiah. Aaron's descendants, 1 Chronicles 6:50-53. The descendants of Aaron were Eleazar, Phinehas, Abishua, Bucky, Uzi, Zariah, Marioth, Amariah, Ahitub, Zadok, and Ahimaaz. The temple musicians, 1 Chronicles 6:31-48. David assigned the following men to lead the music at the house of the Lord. After the ark was placed there, they ministered with music at the tabernacle until Solomon built the temple of the Lord in Jerusalem. They carried out their work, following all the regulations handed down to them. These are the men who served along with their sons. Heman, the musician, was from the clan of Kohath. His genealogy was traced back through Joel, Samuel, Elkanah, Jeroam, Eliel, Toa, Zeph, Elkanah, Mahath, Amasai, Elkanah, Joel, Azariah, Zephaniah, Tahath, Aser, Abiasaph, Korah, Izhar, Kohath, Levi, and Israel. Heman's first assistant was Asaph from the clan of Gershon. Asaph's genealogy was traced back through Berechiah, Shemaiah, Michael, Basaiah, Melchijah, Ethni, Zerah, Adaiah, Ethan, Zimmah, Shammai, Jahath, Gershon, and Levi. Heman's second assistant was Ethan from the clan of Merari. Ethan's genealogy was traced back through Kishi, Abdi, Malach, Hashabiah, Amaziah, Hilkiah, Amzi, Bani, Shemer, Mali, Mushi, Merari, and Levi. It does, doesn't it, Lois? Their fellow Levites were appointed to various other tasks in the tabernacle, the house of God. David's kindness to Mephibosheth, 2 Samuel 9:1-13. One day, David asked, "Is anyone in Saul's family still alive? Anyone to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake?" He summoned a man named Ziba, who had been one of Saul's servants. "Are you Ziba?" the king asked. "Yes, sir, I am," Ziba replied. The king then asked him, "Is anyone still alive from Saul's family? If so, I want to show God's kindness to them." Ziba replied, "Yes, one of Jonathan's sons is still alive. He is crippled in both feet." "Where is he?" the king asked. "In Lo Debar," Ziba told him, "at the home of Machir, son of Ammiel." So David sent for him and brought him from Machir's home. His name was Mephibosheth. He was Jonathan's son and Saul's grandson. When he came to David, he bowed low to the ground in deep respect. David said, "Greetings, Mephibosheth." Mephibosheth replied, "I am your servant." Don't be afraid, David said. I intend to show you kindness. I intend to show kindness to you because of my promise to your father Jonathan. I will give you all the property that once belonged to your grandfather, Saul, and you will eat here with me at the king's table. Mephibosheth bowed respectfully and exclaimed, Who is your servant that you should show kindness to a dead dog like me? Then the king summoned Saul's servant Ziba and said, I have given your master's grandson everything that belonged to Saul and his family. You and your son's servants are to farm the land for him to produce food for your master's household. But Mephibosheth, your master's grandson, will eat here at my table. Ziba had 15 sons and 20 servants. Ziba replied, Yes, my lord the king, I am your servant, and I will do all that you have commanded. And from that time on, Mephibosheth ate regularly at David's table, like one of the king's own sons. Mephibosheth had a young son named Micah. From then on, all the members of Ziba's household were Mephibosheth's servants. And Mephibosheth, who was crippled in both feet, lived in Jerusalem and ate regularly at the king's table. David defeats the Ammonites, 2 Samuel 10, 1-19. Sometime after King Nahash of the Ammonites died, and his son Hanun became king. David said, I am going to show loyalty to Hanun, just as his father Nahash always was loyal to me. So David sent ambassadors to express sympathy to Hanun about his father's death. But when David's ambassadors arrived in the land of Ammon, the Ammonite commander said to Hanun, their master, Do you really think that these men are coming here to honor your father? No, David has sent them to spy out the city so they can come in and conquer it. So Hanun seized David's ambassadors and shaved off half of each man's beard, cut off their robes at the buttocks, and sent them back to David in shame. Half a beard and your butt cheeks showing. When David heard what had happened, he sent messengers to tell the men, Stay at Jericho until your beards grow out, and then come back, for they felt deep shame because of their appearance. When the people of Ammon realized how seriously they had angered David, they sent and hired 20,000 Aramean foot soldiers from the lands of Beth Rehob and Zobah, 1,000 from the king of Makkah, and 12,000 from the land of Tob. When David heard about this, he sent Joab and all of his warriors to fight them. The Ammonite troops came out and drew up their battle lines at the entrance of the city gate, while the Arameans from Zobah and Rehob and the men from Tob and Makkah positioned themselves to fight in the open fields. When Joab saw that he would have to fight on both the front and the rear, he chose some of Israel's elite troops and placed them under his personal command to fight the Arameans in the fields. He left the rest of the army under the command of his brother Abishai, who was to attack the Ammonites. If the Arameans are too strong for me, then come over and help me, Joab told his brother. And if the Ammonites are too strong for you, I will come to help you. Be courageous. Let's fight bravely for our people and the cities of our God. May the Lord's will be done. When Joab and his troops attacked, the Arameans began to run away. And when the Ammonites saw the Arameans running, they ran from Abishai and retreated into the city. After the battle was over, Joab returned to Jerusalem. The Arameans now realized that they were no match for Israel. So when they regrouped, they were joined by additional Aramean troops summoned by Hadadezer from the other side of the Euphrates River. These troops arrived at Helam under the command of Shobak, the commander of Hadadezer's forces. When David heard what was happening, he mobilized all of Israel, crossed the Jordan River, and led the army to Helam. The Arameans positioned themselves in battle formation and fought against David. But again, the Arameans fled from the soldiers, including Shobak, the commander of their army. When all the kings allied with Hadadezer saw that they had been defeated by Israel, they surrendered to Israel and became their subjects. After that, the Arameans were afraid to help the Ammonites. 1 Chronicles 19, 1-19. Sometime after King Nahash of the Ammonites died and his son Hanun became king, David said, I am going to show loyalty to Hanun because his father Nahash was always loyal to me. So David sent messengers to express sympathy to Hanun about his father's death. But when David's ambassadors arrived in the land of Ammon, the Ammonite commander said to Hanun, Do you really think these men are coming here to honor your father? No, David has sent them to spy out the land so that they can come in and conquer it. So Hanun seized David's ambassadors and shaved them, cut off their robes at the buttocks, and sent them back to David in shame. When David heard what had happened to the men, he sent messengers to tell them, Stay at Jericho until your beards grow out, and then come back. For they felt deep shame because of their appearance. When the people of Ammon realized how seriously they had angered David, Hanun and the Ammonites sent 75,000 pounds of silver to hire chariots and charioteers from Aram Naharaim, Aram, Makkah, and Zobah. They also hired 32,000 chariots and secured the support of the king of Makkah and his army. These forces camped at Medeba, where they were joined by the Ammonite troops that Hanan had recruited from his own towns. When David heard about this, he sent Joab and all of his warriors to fight them. The Ammonite troops came out and drew up their battle lines at the entrance of the city, while the other kings positioned themselves to fight in the open fields. When Joab saw that he would have to fight on both the front and the rear, he chose some of Israel's elite troops and placed them under his personal command to fight the Arameans in the field. He left the rest of the army under the command of his brother Abishai, who was to attack the Ammonites. If the Arameans are too strong for me, then come over and help me, Joab told his brother. And if the Ammonites are too strong for you, I will help you. Be courageous. Let us fight bravely for our people and the cities of our God. May the Lord's will be done. When Joab and his troops attacked, the Arameans began to run away. And when the Ammonites saw the Arameans running, they also ran from Abishai and retreated into the city. Then Joab returned to Jerusalem. The Arameans now realized that they were no match for Israel, so they sent messengers and summoned additional Aramean troops from the other side of the Euphrates River. These troops were under the command of Shobak, the commander of Hadadezer's forces. When David heard what was happening, he mobilized all of Israel, crossed the Jordan River, and positioned his troops in battle formation. Then David engaged the Arameans in battle, and they fought against him. But again, the Arameans fled from the Israelites. This time, David's forces killed 7,000 charioteers and 40,000 foot soldiers, including Shobak, the commander of their army. When Hadadezer's allies saw that they had been defeated by Israel, they surrendered to David and became his subjects. After that, the Arameans were no longer willing to help the Ammonites. All right. We are almost done this book. We are on page 135, the poem titled A New Song, Free. A new song I now can sing, above the love Jesus brings. Peace and joy that fills my soul, the greatest story ever told. When I look around and see all the good things you've done for me, the cross you paid the price, love grew into grace. To set me free, you took my place. The keys to life, you opened the door. The blessings of life is grace forevermore. April 19th, 2009. All right, let me read the chat. I always go back and peek through the chat because sometimes I've got 100 messages. It's fun, isn't it, Lois? 15 sons from one wife, that poor woman. Ashamed of their beards, not their showing butt cheeks. I'm surprised that's not a trend today. Shaving half your beard and, running around with your butt cheeks out kind of is. So, Kim, you're having your surgery today on your ear, right? I remember, right? You're having it on your ear. We'll be praying for you. All right, my friends, let's go ahead and end in prayer. Father God, we thank you today for this opportunity to come together before you and worship by reading your word and learning from the words you have for us, the message that you deliver to us. And sometimes we read all the names and wonder what it could possibly mean to us today, but there is purpose in all of it. And I know that your word will not return void, and I thank you for that promise. God, I pray for each woman here today that you will lift them up and support them and hold them today and let your presence be known to them. I think of Kimberly getting ready for surgery, and I just pray for your peace to wash over her today, that she will just be calm going into the surgery. I pray for wisdom for the doctors, that you would cover them in your wisdom today as they perform this surgery, and just keep her at peace today. God, I also pray for Bob today, and that you will heal him from these seizures, prepare him for the next radiation, and that you will just be with him and be with Kay as she walks through this. I also pray for Faith today as she prepares for her chemotherapy, that you will just wash her with a sense of peace today, God. I pray as we go through our day today that you will help us to honor you with everything we say and do, with everything that comes out of our mouth and everything that goes into it. God, I pray your blessings upon the people here at this coffee shop, that you will just help us to be a picture of Christ's love towards them. In your precious name I pray. Amen. All right, my friends, have an amazing Thursday. I won't be live for breakfast because I'm going to eat breakfast right here.
Thanks for letting me join.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Love you guys.